There has been a lot of discussion about gold and Fort Knox recently, especially after high-profile comments from both Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and an upcoming visit to the facility where they will inspect the gold. Well, there is some gold that they will not inspect, and this gold, which I'm going to show you here in this video, is a type that you have never seen before. Let's talk about it as we explore. Before we get into that, let me tell you about other items that have been held in Fort Knox. The depository held the crown of St. Stephen, as well as other Hungarian crown jewels, including a gold scepter and orb, and a gold-encrusted mantle. Those were given to U.S. military authorities by members of the Royal Hungarian Crown Guard who feared that they would otherwise fall into the hands of the Soviets. And the items were kept in Germany under U.S. custody for several years before being transferred to Fort Knox. But we also know that in the mid-50s, the Defense Logistics Agency began storing opium and morphine at the depository and the West Point Mint. It was to ensure that the nation had adequate supplies in case of war or supply disruptions from the limited number of poppy exporters. And of course, we know about famous documents as well, founding documents that were stored there during World War II as well. Fort Knox stored the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and Bill of Rights during World War II to protect them from danger. In 1944, the documents were returned to Washington, D.C. So it has quite a history, Fort Knox does. But what about gold? What forms of gold are in Fort Knox? Well, most of them are non-good delivery bars that range from 90% gold all the way up to 98% gold bars. And that would be very expensive to reassay, but that's mostly what's in Fort Knox vaults. Now, if you believe it's there, and the visit from the president and Elon Musk is not going to prove that all the gold is there, number one, and number two, even if it is all there, who actually owns it? Is it leased out? Those are the questions that need to be asked. But there's some information I found out just recently that blew me away of what is actually stored in Fort Knox. I'm going to show you that here in a moment. But remember, a lot of the gold stored in Fort Knox came from the melting down of these, the St. Gaudens, and also the Liberty Head gold coins of various different sizes. You know, this is the double eagle, which is $20. Then you had the eagle, which is $10. And then the half eagle, which is $5, and the quarter eagle, which is $2.50. All those gold coins were essentially confiscated based off of Executive Order 6102 from Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And of course, in 1933, that's when that occurred, there was a bunch of coins minted of the St. Gaudens variety, and they were not monetized. They were sent back into the vaults at Fort Knox. After 10 were found and discovered from those that were not melted down, a lot of these escaped. Some of them went to private hands, and 10 of those were discovered recently within the last 20 years and sent back into the vaults of Fort Knox. Those are technically not coins. That's right. Even though it has a $20 denomination on it, they were not monetized. It was only until after an auction in 2002, I believe, that one was monetized and was sold at auction for, I think, a couple of $1 million. I'm basing this off of memory. And plus $20 because they had to actually issue and monetize the coin. So those 10 that are in storage are coins you may not have known about. But that is not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about something even more profound that I didn't realize. Yes, indeed. Let's show you what that is right now. There are this is the piece, and it's not a coin. There it is, folks. Now, this isn't the actual piece that you will see there. This is an actual coin, and it is not made of gold. It is the golden dollar. That's right, the golden dollar. is right here for you to enjoy in proof form. This would have a W next to it, and it would be made of gold. And even though it says $1 on it, it is not a dollar coin. I'll tell you the story behind this because I thought these were all melted down. Coin World is reporting on this. This is something pretty amazing, this bit of history here. And during the tenure of former U.S. Mint Director Philip M. Deal in June of 1999, 39 proof 2000 W gold examples of the dollar coin, new dollar coin, were struck at the West Point Mint using the W mint mark, but in the same 22 karat 0.91675 gold composition as the American Eagle half-ounce $25 coins. Yes, indeed. And by the way, this is one of those coins, and you can see superimposed on top of that is pretty much the same diameter. It's a little bit different here. It is a slightly larger diameter, as you can see. So that means that if it was struck on those planchets, then it would have to be a thinner and wider diameter coin. But half-ounce gold eagles are the most uncommon form of bullion to buy. But you can get them at a decent price over at our channel sponsor here, summitmetals.com. So check out their prices on half-ounce gold eagles and other fractional gold eagles. They've been known to be the lowest cost leader on fractional gold eagles here. So check out summitmetals.com. Now, the half-ounce gold eagle here is 0.91675 fine gold, but it has a reeded edge. But that would be what the basis was for this coin here. But again, this would have a smooth edge, a wider edge or rim there. And beautiful, though, the Sacagawea dollar is. But I always was fascinated about this story. I remember hearing about it back in the day, actually. And it really had me really interested. And I thought they had melted them all down. But indeed, they did not. 39 were made. And they had the same composition as American half-ounce gold eagle. 27 of the gold strikes were melted down, all bearing the original Sacagawea prototype designs. And the prototype designs came in the Cheerios dollar, and it had the tail feather here, had much more definition in the tail feather. And that was the only thing that was different in those. But yes. So that was the difference, and that would be what you would see if you could see one of those. And of course, they're not going to be able to see that at their tour for sure. 27 were melted down, bearing the prototype designs. The 12 examples that remain were the ones sent to space in July of 1999 aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia. Those 12 gold pieces, and notice he didn't say coins here, are currently stored in a vault at the Fort Knox Bullion Depository in Kentucky. The 12 gold pieces are not officially considered coins, since they were never officially issued. Although they bear the denomination $1, they have no legal tender status. And it just goes to show you that just because it has $1 on it does not mean it's a legal tender coin. And on the contrary, in Mexico, the Mexican libertads indeed are coins, even though they don't have a denomination on them. Same thing with the Krugerrands in South Africa. So that's pretty interesting. A denomination does not always mean that a piece is coined or not, or as monetized. Researchers have determined the 12 gold strikes from 1999 match the 5,500 manganese brass clad circulation quality strikes struck in 1999. And by the way, this is indeed the manganese brass variety. I don't have a gold one. That would be nice. I would love to own a gold one. That would be very, especially one of the 12, but there may be an opportunity for us, and we'll talk about that in a moment too. This is fascinating to me. They were randomly inserted into boxes of Cheerios as part of a marketing promotion with General Mills. I remember that day getting and trying to find. I've got several. I had, of course, I spent some of the other ones, but I got one of the Lincoln Cents, which they sell for a premium as well too. They both illustrate the soaring eagle on the reverse with 12 detailed feathers in the tail. The central feather shaft is raised and the feather veins show detail. The design was modified to what some count as 13 tail feathers for the later circulation output. And indeed, you can see there's less detail in those tail feathers, but indeed they are there, and in this proof version. Pretty amazing. When Thomas D. Rogers Sr., the sculptor engraver of the U.S. Mint's engraving staff, who executed the Soaring Eagle reverse on the series, learned of the Mint's proposal for a 2025 W Sacagawea gold dollar. That's right. There's one coming. He explained to Coin World how the discussion of 12 feathers or 13 tail feathers came about. I've always been proud that the eagle on the sack reverse is one of only 5 or 6 flying eagles gracing U.S. circulating coinage since the Mint's inception in 1792. But it was never given the exposure that it could have gotten due to the refusal of the public to accept it in everyday transactions. The 13th feather is something that was determined by some outside sources. Actually, there was a raised shaft on the center 12th feather when he began getting concentric lines in the model reductions that seemed to be coming from the tail. We decided to smooth the feathers, and part of what was lowering the raised area to in making it incused. So that's the reason why it had occurred. And those Cheerios dollars go for big money these days. So yes, indeed. But there is a proposed 25th anniversary Sacagawea gold dollar, and what will feature designs that appeared on coins released into general circulation in January of 2000, bearing the so-called 13 tail feathers, and the same inscriptions as original featured on the 2000 coins, with no mention of gold weight or fineness. And more likely, if they use the actual planchets for this, it would be a smaller planchet and presumably heavier than a half ounce, but I think it is going to be just a half ounce variety, according to what the Mint plans. Another article from Coin World: Mint plans for a 25th anniversary Sacagawea dollar in gold. And there will be 4 nines fine issued in 2025 by the United States Mint to recognize the 25th anniversary of the 2000 release into circulation of the manganese brass-clad Sacagawea dollar. And those designs were reviewed and recommended, and they, according to what I was able to see, they have no difference. There's no weight or fineness on it. They could probably do it on the edge, considering it's a smooth edge here. We'll see if they actually do that or not, or they may not. They may just be purists and just leave it as such and not put the weight or fineness on it. But Bureau officials did not disclose the finish or finishes to be issued for the 25th anniversary Sacagawea dollar coin, struck in gold, and whether the mintages will be limited or not. But a fascinating thing for sure, and it'll be very wild to see how these things are released, but we'll see. But nonetheless, these examples, which I've never seen images of, I've looked for years to see if I could find images of the actual coins that were issued and stored at Fort Knox, but I've not seen any. I've seen renderings of them, but I don't think actual images of them for the ones that are stored there in Fort Knox. So this is as close as we're going to get to seeing what conceivably what would look like. But nonetheless, there it is. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section below. Gold at Fort Knox and the 12, which presumably these are going to be half-ounce coins. And so they are more than likely, we've got the tonnage, the amount of tonnage, plus, about 6 more ounces. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.